Hi folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Thursday, the 26th of December 2024. I hope that you all have a nice Christmas and now we are all looking forward to the new year. Okay folks? So yeah, in today's video, I want to decipher for you Psalm 66. Okay? Now Psalm 66 is actually a very interesting psalm because it's actually a multi-dispensational psalm. Okay? And like always, I do have a program, and I'm going to be breaking down for you where all the verses belong to and in which dispensation. Okay, so today is Thursday, the 26th of December, 2024. All right, folks, there are 20 verses in this psalm. Now, verses 1 to 5 are actually for the millennial kingdom, as we shall see in a moment. Verse 6 is actually under the law. Verses 7 to 9 apply to all dispensations. Verses 10 to 12 are for the tribulation period in context, and then verses 13 to 20 are under the law. Okay, now for my program here, I've written the main ones. Okay, so we're gonna be going through these main verses here, like verse 6, verse 10, verse 11, and 12. Okay, now verse 12 here is actually the most tricky verse to decipher. Okay, you gotta be someone that has quite a lot of experience deciphering Bible prophecies to be able to decipher this psalm. I think, generally speaking, and you also gotta have a high level of creativity to be able to decipher some of the verses. So being highly creative and having a high level, or a high knowledge of the Bible is going to help you decipher most of these difficult verses in the Bible. Okay. Alright then, folks, let's get straight into it. Okay. Now, I said to you earlier, folks, the verses 1 to 5 are for the millennial kingdom. Okay, so as we shall see now. Okay, and it reads on verse 1, make a joyful noise unto God, all you lands. Now, let's break this down. The fact that we got Mike here in capitals is acting like a big neon sign. Okay, as it's saying, hey, Jesus is coming for the millennial kingdom. So make a joyful noise unto God because he's coming for the millennial kingdom. All you lands, in other words, the whole earth. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay, now verse 2, sing forth the honor of his name, make his praise glorious. Of course, um, as Jesus comes for the millennial kingdom. Okay, here we have a commandment. Sing forth the honor of his name. Okay, so proclaim the name of Jesus. Okay, and make his praise glorious. Okay, so these are commandments, if you like, verse 1 and 2. Okay, upon the arrival of Jesus for the millennial kingdom. Now, verse 3, say unto God, how terrible are thou in thy works. Through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. Yeah, of course, God committed, the terrible act, if you like, when he, according to Joel chapter 3, verse 2, when he made that judgment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, okay? And also according to Matthew chapter 25, verses 32 and 33, the judgment or the sheep and the goat, okay? And also, how in the book of Revelation, generally speaking, it tells us how Jesus is going to put the, the Antichrist and the false prophet into the lake of fire and brimstone. And also, Satan, the devil, is going to put him into the abyss for 1,000 years, okay? So it says here, through the greatness of their power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. Okay. So the greatness of Jesus, the greatness of his power is going to be doing all these things, getting rid of the evil. Okay. And then once he gets rid of the evil, all the earth shall worship thee. Okay. This is why this is a millennial kingdom. Once Jesus, performs all his judgment, all the earth shall worship Jesus. Those that make it through into the millennial kingdom, okay? And shall sing unto thee, that shall sing to thy name, okay? Come and see the works of God, okay? This is also for the millennial kingdom. He is terrible in his doing towards the children of men. Okay, like I just told you. Okay, here, like on verse 5, the greatness of the power of Jesus, how he's able to defeat evil. Okay. Now, verse 6 here is actually under the law because it says here, um, he turned the sea into dry land. Think of Moses, okay, when he lifted up his staff and commanded, the Jewish people to go through the Red Sea, okay. They went through the flood on foot. Now, I believe that this flood on foot refers to Joshua bringing in, the entire nation of Israel with him and crossing the Jordan River because it was actually flooded back then, okay. There they will rejoice in him, of course, in God, okay. So, the breakdown then for verse 6, I got here, he turned the sea into dry land. I'm putting it down. This is happening, we can read that in the book of Exodus, the Jewish people crossing the Red Sea, okay? Exodus out of Egypt, the Red Sea crossing. They went through the flood on foot. This, the Red Sea crossing, of course, is in Exodus chapter 14, verses 21 and 22, but the fact that they went through the flood is talking about Joshua leading the nation of Israel crossing the Jordan, if you like, the Jordan River when it was flooded according to Joshua 3:15. Okay, so let me take you there to Joshua 3:15, and so you can see for yourselves. Joshua 3:15. Okay, so head over to Joshua 3:15, and I say that bear the ark will come unto Jordan, the river Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest. Okay, so it was, the Jordan River was overflowing with water. Okay, so this is what I think he's referring here when they went for the flood on foot. Because if you look into the context, the fact that he's saying he turned the sea into dry land, that's obviously the Red Sea crossing. But if you follow the context, what was the next big thing? Joshua plus, the nation of Israel crossing the Jordan, crossing the Jordan River when it was flooded, like I just showed you here. So they went through the flood on foot. Okay, so the Red Sea crossing, you will find it in Exodus 14, verses 21 and 22. Okay, so let's just quickly go there. Exodus chapter 14. Here we go, verses 21 and 22. So go to Exodus, okay, chapter 14, verses 21 and 22. Over the page. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land. Okay, as the waters were divided, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on the right hand and on the left. Okay, so basically, that's it there, folks, for those verses there. Here in verse 6. Okay, so he turned the sea into dry land. That's the Red Sea crossing, and they went through the flood on foot. That's the Joshua going through with the nation of Israel. Okay, and going over the Jordan. Okay, now verses then 7 to 9 are multi-dispensational. Okay, generally speaking. Okay, he ruleth by his power forever. Of course, that's God. Okay, his eyes behold the nations. Okay, let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Don't forget that it's God who appoints kings. Okay, and takes also kings out of nations. Okay, so it is God that rules by his power. Okay, so this applies to all dispensations, generally speaking. Okay, oh, bless our God, you people, and make the voice of his praise to be heard. This, of course, applies to all dispensations. This is what we should always be doing, blessing God. Okay, and praising him. And verse 9, which holdeth a soul in life and suffereth not a feet to be moved. Okay, so it is God who is the giver of our life. So verses 7 to 9 are actually multi-dispensational. It's basically praising God. Okay. Now, verses 10 to 12. I believe that these are actually for the tribulation period. Okay, because look what it says here. For thou, meaning you, O God, has proved us, thou hast tried us as silver is tried. This can actually be linked to Zachariah 13:9. Okay, let me just show you Zachariah 13:9 just quickly while I put the phone here so you can read it. Let me just quickly get to Zachariah 13:9. Bear with me for one sec, folks. Shouldn't be too long now. I don't have a patch marker here because I'm studying other things at the moment, and I don't want to lose those patch markers. But Zachariah then, okay, chapter 13, verse 9, okay. And I will bring the third part through the fire, okay, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and I will try them as gold is tried. So basically, only 1/3 of the Jewish people will make it through into the millennial kingdom, okay. So God is going to try them as silver is refined. So that's why this verse here in Psalm 66, verse 10, okay, thou hast tried us as silver is tried. It's actually linked to Zechariah 13:9. That's why in context then verses 10 to 12 are actually for the tribulation period, and it actually begins here on verse 10. Now, verse 11 it reads, thou broughtest us into the net, thou liest affliction upon our loins. Okay, so of course, thou broughtest us into the net. This is talking about, and the affliction as well. This is talking about the tribulation period. In other words, Daniel's 70th week. Okay, so I put here for verse 11, thou liest affliction upon our loins. Think of Daniel 9:24. Okay, in other words, Daniel's 70th week. And also, generally speaking, Daniel chapter 12, which talks about the tribulation period, okay? And here also, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, talks about Jacob's trouble, okay? So, perhaps most Bible scholars know this, so I probably won't show you the prophecies, but just check them out, okay? Daniel 9:24, Daniel chapter 12, and Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, so we don't keep this video too long, okay? And we all know about the tribulation period. So if you were to read verses 10, it says, thou hast tried us as silver is tried. I told you that was linked to Zechariah 13:9, okay? And so I put the two arrows here, and in inverted commas, I put down that verse 10 begins the context for the tribulation period, okay? So verse 10 here begins the context for the tribulation period, okay? Thou hast tried us as silver is tried is linked to Zechariah 13:9, and then verse 11 is about, the affliction upon our loins is about Daniel's 70th week, okay? The tribulation period, Jacob's trouble, which you will find in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7, okay? Now, verse 12, I believe, is actually the hardest one. It's actually the trickiest one to decipher. And, you really have to put your thinking cap on how you're going to decipher this. You've got to be very creative. That's why in order to be a decipherer, not only do you have to know the Bible really well, you actually have to be highly creative. From my experience, to decipher the most difficult prophecies in the Bible and also biblical events. This is actually one of the top secrets, folks. If you know the Bible really well and you're actually highly creative, this is a secret, folks. You can actually decipher just about anything in the Bible. That's why I'm always deciphering very difficult things, because I'm highly creative and I know my Bible pretty well after having done more than 100 biblical decipherings. And so I'm able to decipher just about anything. The more you do, the more you get better at it and the more experience you get, okay? Now, verse 12, thou hast caused men to ride over our heads. That's interesting. Now, don't forget that verse 10, like I just told you here, became the context for the tribulation period, okay? So verse 10 began the context for the tribulation period. Verse 11 is about, Jacob's travel of Daniel's 70th week. And now we got to decipher this verse here, which is very, very tricky. Okay? It says here, thou hast caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water. Okay, so we got to decipher what is it that the Jewish people, what fire did the Jewish people went through, and what water is that? Okay, we got to decipher these two, fire and water. Okay, but you brought us out into a wealthy place. Okay, that means Israel. Now I put down on my notes here where it says, "Thou hast caused men to ride over our heads," which is actually linked to Luke 21:20. Jerusalem being encompassed with armies. Okay, and we're gonna be looking at Luke 21:20 in a moment. Okay, we went through the fire, meaning the nations are encompassing Israel. Okay, with armies. Okay, so meaning that they want to kill Jewish people. And so then in Luke 21:21, the Jewish people flee into the wilderness. Okay, so that's going through the fire. Going through the water is actually, because this is actually in the tribulation period, it's actually Satan causing that flood, as in Revelation 12:15, in which then God is going to protect Israel in the wilderness. Okay, according to Revelation 12:14. So let us look at all these prophecies that are linked, in which Israel went through fire. Let us have a look at how it's linked to Luke 21:20 and Luke 21:21. Okay, so let's go to Luke. Okay, well, I get into here. Wait with me, folks. I don't have a page marker, like I said. I just have other deciphers that I'm looking into it. I don't want to lose those markers. So here we go, folks. Nice and easy. Luke 21:20. So head over to the book of Luke and look. Let's see what it says in Luke 21:20. Okay. Okay. This is Israel going through the fire. Okay. And when you shall see Jerusalem encompassed with armies, what do armies do? They annihilate people. They use fire to kill people. Okay. Fire meaning with bullets, cannons and all that kind of stuff. They know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Okay. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein, for these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written might be fulfilled. So this is what I think is linked to, these armies, encompassing Jerusalem and the Jewish people having to flee, if you like. Okay, so let us quickly go back to here, Psalm 66. Okay, so going through the fire is actually linked to Luke 21, verses 20 and 21. Okay, and going through the water, then I believe that because they are in tribulation, okay, this is actually when Satan, according to Revelation 12:15, causes that flood, but God is going to protect the Jewish people supernaturally in the wilderness, according to Revelation 12:14. Okay, so let us quickly then go to the book of Revelation. Okay, Revelation 12. Bear with me, folks. Here we go. Revelation. All right. So Revelation 12:15. Okay, head over to Revelation 12:15. Okay, and it says here, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water. Okay, so this is Israel going through water now. In Luke in Luke 21, verses 20 and 21, Israel went through the fire. In other words, the armies encompassing Jerusalem and the Jewish people having to flee. But now the Jewish people are going through water. Okay, as a serpent cast out of his mouth water, as a flood after the woman. The woman means Israel, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. Okay, but it says here in verse 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So the dragon or Satan is not going to be, he's going to be unsuccessful because the earth, there's going to be an opening in which all the water is going to be filtered through that opening. Okay, so and it says here in Revelation 14, and the woman, meaning Israel, were given 2 wings of a great eagle. This is a figure of speech, if you like, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she's nourished for a time and times and half a time, meaning 3.5 years, okay, from the face of the serpent or the devil. So, yeah, basically, God is going to protect the Jewish people supernaturally, from the flood, if you like, that the devil wants to annihilate Jewish people, okay, but he's not going to be successful. So, um, that is that, folks, in terms of going through the fire and water. Now, and I got my notes here, okay, so just to finish up then, thou hast caused men to ride over our heads, linked to Luke 21:20, Jerusalem encompassed with armies going through the fire, okay, nations encompassing Israel with armies, okay, so fire is symbolizing here that, fire can cause annihilation of people, okay. And the Jewish people have to flee, like it says in Luke 21, verse 21, and through water, of course, Satan's flood, he's going to cause that according to Revelation 12:15, but God is going to protect the nation of Israel. Then God in the wilderness, according to Revelation 12:14, okay. Now, then the rest of the verses 13 to 20 are under the law, so they're not very important. Generally speaking, let's just go through them. It says here, I will go into thy house with burnt offerings. So burnt offerings, this only happened under the law, okay. I will pay thee my vows, which my lips have uttered and my mouth hath spoken when I was in trouble, okay. So generally speaking, this is all under the law. It's already come to pass, okay. I will offer unto thee burnt sacrifices of fatlings. This only happened under the law. With the increase of rams, I will offer bullocks with goats. Selah. Come and hear, all you that fear God, and I will declare what he has done for my soul. I cried unto him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. Uh, this is what we need to be saved, okay? But verily God had heard me. He had attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God which hath not turned away my prayer, nor his mercy from me. Okay, so that's under the law. Okay, like I just told you, verses 13 to 20 are under the law. So the most trickiest one has been this verse 12, going through the fire and also going through water, and then thinking about how you can link this fire with prophecy and also this water with prophecy as well. And having the ability to do some creative thinking, and how to solve this problem here, or how to solve this prophecy rather, on verse 12, which is actually the trickiest one here in the entire Psalm 66. So, alright, folks, that's it. I'll just give you a little scan of my page here if you want to study my notes. If you want to pause and rewind and move forward with this video for your biblical studies. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Alright, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.